Okay, seeing as there's no hunting trip, I decided I would do a video on the Hornady Lock and Load Sonic Cleaner 2 litre. I've had this for a little while. I think I mentioned in a previous video at some point that I was looking at either getting a ultrasonic cleaner or a stainless steel wet tumbler. I decided to go with the ultrasonic cleaner primarily because I'm not looking to polish the brass with this. I'm only looking to be an easier cleaning method for getting the sizing lubricant off of the brass after running cases through dyers, either full length sizing or neck sizing. I don't neck size, but I do full length size, which means I use lube on every case that I size, and running them through the dry tumbler that I have, which I can use if I want to have cases polished, means that you have to individually wipe off every single case at the end, whereas doing it with this means that I can run them through this and then simply rinse the cases off under clean water when I'm done, and then tip them out on a towel or shake each case out individually, or not individually. I usually grab a handful of cases, shake them out. I usually make sure they're all oriented so the mouths are pointing in one direction, shake them out, chuck them on a towel. Once I've done all cases like that and they're all on the towel, I just roll them around a bit. That gets the bulk of the water off the outside of the case, and that really helps with not getting water spots once the cases are dry. Roll them around on the towel, and then they go into a dehumidifier, a dehydrator. Just a cheap Amazon dehydrator that I got at Christmas one year, specifically for this purpose. And that's how I clean cases after sizing now, to get the lubricant off. It sounds like it's as much work as if I dry tumbled and then had to clean the tumbling media out of the flash holes and wipe each individual case, but it's not. You still have to shake the excess water out of the case, because what usually happens is you rinse them off, you leave them sit there, and each case will have a bit of water still sitting inside it, so that's why you have to shake it out. But it's less hands-on work. It's more automated. You get it in here, just quickly shake the cases out, roll them around a towel and into the dehydrator. And I usually leave them sit in the dehydrator for, say, a couple of hours on low and then an hour on the high setting in the dehydrator, and that gets all the water off them and out of them, and that usually gets it done. I have no liquid in here at the moment. I haven't started it yet. I've just set this video equipment up and set this on the bench. This is, I think, 97 or 96 pieces of brass. I can't remember from last night when I sized them. I had to sacrifice a piece because I annealed and then sized, so I had to sacrifice a piece to get the annealing code for this brass, because I hadn't run this Lapua brass. This is 308 Winchester Lapua, and I had to sacrifice a piece, and I can't remember what the count was before I sacrificed the piece to get the annealing code with the amp machine. So yeah, and you probably can't see it, but this basket is 2/3 to 3/4, what I'd call 3/4 full. Where's the max? The max line's up there. So yeah, it's probably 2/3 to 3/4 full, and that's 96 to 97 pieces. So you could probably do 120 pieces at a push, I'd say, in there. And the cleaning liquid that I use is just a couple of drops of just dishwashing liquid, a little bit of citric acid, and like a little bit, like 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon for this amount of liquid that's going to go in here. And then just warm water, and I turn the heat function, which is this button here. This is sitting at 5 minutes. It's hard to see with the light, extra lighting over here on, but yeah, its time is 5 minutes. It goes up to, I believe, half-hour intervals. Yep, half-hour intervals, and then you can dial it down individual minutes as well, like so. And I believe it runs a degas function as well. You can turn it to degas normal, so you can set it for 30 minutes degas, and then it'll run, I think it's the first 2 minutes as the degas function, or first 5 minutes, sorry. It's either 2 or 5 minutes, run the degas, and it'll flip normal as well. So I haven't got the heat function on yet. I'm going to take this out, sit it over there to the right of the cleaner, and then I'll get some water, fill this up, and get the heat function going. Okay, I'll just grab this dishwashing liquid from over here. Old manky bottle of dishwashing liquid. That's plenty. Now that doesn't look like a lot of citric acid, but that's about 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon if it was all clumped together. Turn this heat function on now that I've got liquid in there. It's now heating. This is slightly warm liquid that I'm putting in there anyway. Just tip this last little bit of this in there, and we'll see how we go with that. So it's roughly, just got to get me hand around here. Okay, so I need a little bit more liquid. There we go. Now we just flip these down a little bit. I'm just gonna jiggle that around a little bit. Lid goes on. And we can start. It makes a high-pitched noise, as all ultrasonic cleaners do. That'll run for half an hour. I'll usually give it another 15 to 30 minutes after this initial half hour, just to really help get the cases clean. Half these cases were already clean and sized, but because of the problem with the 308 die, I went back and ran even the clean and sized ones through the die again. And the other half were fired, and when I sized them, had the primers knocked out, so their primer pockets are dirty as well. So with fired cases like this, that's when I normally give them the other half hour. Their recommendation is, I believe in the manual, in the manual it says if you run it for half an hour, like I have now, see it's just switched from the degas to the normal function. So yeah, it went for a minute and a half on the degas function before it switched to the normal function. If you run it for half an hour like I'm going to, you have to give it a 5-minute rest between running it again. So that means I'll run it for half hour, leave it for 5 minutes or so, and then hit it for another half hour after that. And we'll see how that goes. So I will see you back after that, hopefully. Okay, the cases are now in the hydrator. This is the final step in the process of running them through the ultrasonic cleaner, and they'll stay in here for about 3 or so hours.